So we're going to give you a little crash course on the sign up process and some of the things that you can do in the peer-to-peer platforms backend to really individualize, customize the campaign so that you're telling the comfort food story in your own voice and in your own way. If this is something that you decide doing, we just want to say thank you for, taking the Kick COVID idea and bringing it out to your community, to your peers, helping us spread the word, raise money, and share our story. So you've landed on this Kick COVID page, and what you're going to do is, we have some of the background information on the campaign, a little bit of how it works, some ideas about how you might engage with your community, with your peers, and then, of course, some lovely prizes if you hit certain fundraising goals. And then you're going to reach this sign up section. So it's a little bit under construction because we're obviously recording the video right now, but your main sign up link is going to be here. And then we'll have a link to written instructions as well as this video. And if you're not so inclined to do a full campaign and you just want to make a single donation, that option is there for you as well. So let's go ahead and click sign up here. A couple notes. So we've had a couple runs at this, and because Mike and I are also admins, and like there's browser cookies and stuff like that, it's behaved a little bit differently for us in the sign up process than it might for you. But we've cleared all of that stuff out, so we should have a pretty clean run at this. So this is a look at what the Kick COVID campaign page is going to look like at the account login. Most, if not all of you, will be new accounts. So we're going to go ahead and say create new account. Just some basic information we're looking for here. I only use this email for things like this or fantasy football. So I think I got that right. And I'm going to go D. A Bulger for my login name, my super secret login password. I'm not sure if you have to have a certain combination of symbols, letters, numbers, capital, lowercase. So just keep that in mind. You might have to jump through some of those hoops when you're signing up. And then you're just going to click the box to signify that you are not a bot for the CAPTCHA thing. That all checked out, so we're ready to submit. Oh, and I've used that login name before, so I'm going to say Devin B for my login name. And I'm just going to certify again that I'm not a bot and submit again. So it kind of brings you back to a blank page and to now get to the back end of where you'll set your fundraising campaign up. We'll click here. Unfortunately, it makes us log in again, but that's okay. We'll go Devin B. And now we are logged in and we have the view of what the back end of your personal campaign is looking like. So I'll spend a bunch of time on this because this is really where the rubber meets the road in terms of how you're going to set up and develop your campaign. A few things to hit right off the bat is that this is the back end view as you make changes and you want to see how they're going to look to the peers that you're going to be sharing the campaign with. You'll just click this button, view my fundraising page. But please, as you're adding content and adding these different fields, come down and hit save early and often, just as a precaution, but especially before you hit view my fundraising page, because we don't want you to lose any of that good work that you've put into the page. So up at the top here, we have two sort of meter circles. The first one is going to be your page. So when we go in and fill in our goal, that's going to be your personal goal that, because you're basically running a little mini campaign within the overall Kick COVID campaign. So we have set ourselves an ambitious goal of raising $15,000 through the Kick COVID campaign. as we've mentioned in some of our communications leading up to this, this is going to have to be a substitute for our Give Hunger the Boot annual campaign. And that's typically been the goal that we've set for that campaign. So it's a big hole to plug. It's an ambitious goal, but you know, we're gonna strive for that, and with your help, we're hopefully going to reach that goal. So you'll have your progress, and then you'll also have the overall campaign's progress that you can view as we're going along. Right here, the main content is the page content, but there are these other tabs that I'll come back to in just a sec. As we get into the details of the page content, your default is going to be your first and last name and fundraising page. If you want to come up with a different clever name, just you know, click that radio button and then enter in what you'd prefer to have your fundraising page be. I'm going to go ahead and just leave Devin Bolger's fundraising page. Simple, easy. The fundraising page URL. So that's going to be, you know, as you can see, it's a link that is just tied to your mini campaign and your campaign only. And there's also two options here. So if you click here, you can now enter into this field. So that could be useful. You could add something that's a little bit easier to remember. You know, this isn't going to be something that people can memorize, but you could do, you know, Kick COVID Devin or something like that. I've actually used that in another example, so I'm just going to leave it as the default. And then this is actually where you're going to set your own personal campaign's goal. I'm going to go for $1,000. It might be setting the bar kind of high. I'm not sure, but I think that's a good place to start. And that is a field that is editable throughout the campaign. So, you know, if I got off to a hot start and I'm approaching $1,000 and I'm only a couple weeks in, I could always raise the level and you know, push myself a little bit more. Or if it was a little bit overly ambitious, then I can kind of scale it down and make it something that is seeming to be a little more realistic. But that's just you know, a goal that you think is going to be achievable, that motivates you to, you know, reach out to your community. But we don't want you to stress about it or, you know, feel disappointed if you don't get there. Just whatever feels comfortable for you. So we're going to do the $1,000, and I'm going to practice what I preach and hit save, just so that it locks in my goal before doing the upload of a personal photo. So this is kind of going to be your profile picture, if you will, for your campaign. It can be an actual photo of you. We could send you a file of the campaign logo if you want to have that, or you know, any photo that kind of represents your connection to Comfort Food Community and our mission. So we'll just select File, and then for Windows user, this just brought up my you know, the basic file folder. And the one that I am looking for is a little bit buried, but I'm going to drill down and get it. Here. Let's say web. The one thing that we did notice is that JPEGs tended to work better than PNGs. So I'm going to select a JPEG file. And now that that's selected, I'll hit upload. And you can see that it added that image. And once again, I'm going to save. And I'll give you a little bit of a look at the preview of the front end at this point before coming back to that, just so you can see how some of these changes are looking. So we're back on the front end. This is how it's going to look to the community your campaign out to. And you can see that my profile picture added. It puts it at a little bit of an angle. I guess, you know, they think that that's a cool little feature. But and then to get back to the back end, you just come down here and say edit my page. So now that you have that, the main part of the content where you're going to tell your story and where you're going to really personalize and say what this campaign means to you and the work that Comfort Food Community means to you is right in here. It has all of the major tools that Microsoft Word or Google Docs have. It even has a spell checker built into it. You can mess with the fonts. You can add additional images. So you can have your main profile picture, but you can also add other images. This looks a little scary, but just ignore this first one and go to upload, and then it's the same process as what we used for the profile picture. And then you would just hit upload, and that will appear in the body here of the word processing. I also experimented with, and it works pretty well. If you are more comfortable working in Word than typing in here, you can copy and paste and it'll bring over the font that you were using in Word. I actually did some bulleted lists and stuff, and it preserves the bullets as well. And then let's save that again, and I'll just show you again at the front end where that's appearing when people are going to be visiting your site. So that content that I just added is actually up top here, and then the boilerplate, baked in language that we added to the site gets pushed down, and then your supporters are here. So however much you type in and pictures that you add, that's going to kind of appear here and just keep pushing down our content that is in there. But the whole thing ends up looking really nice, and you can see where some other photos would fit in nice to that view of the page. So jumping back real quick, I think that pretty much covers the content part of it. And there's not a whole lot to do with these other tabs up here in the menu. Share My Page gives you some different options for turning around and sharing this with the peers that you're going to be networking with. So this is your donation link that you can throw in an email or put up on a Facebook message. Your fundraising widget can be embedded in different things. That's a little insider baseball, but if you were so inclined, you can do that. And then these are links to the most popular social media platforms. That Facebook, it's going to open a new window, and you'll be right in your wall or your feed, and you can share it with your community that way. Donations is just going to be a look at, you'll see who's been giving to your campaign in real time. The event registrations you can safely ignore. That in future campaigns, but it's not an element of the Kick COVID campaign, so safe to ignore. And then this comments section is just as people donate to your campaign, there's a field that they can enter comments, and this is just going to collect all of those comments in one place. And that pretty much gets us through the back end, right, Mike?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. A lot that you can do with it, and I should say that if you run into any issues with sign up, with the editing of the content, with any part of this process, Mike is going to be your man. So we have that called out in the FAQ section of the main campaign page at comfortfoodcommunity.org. But his email is mike@comfortfoodcommunity.org, and he can help you get through any glitches you might experience, which hopefully you won't experience any. I think to wrap up, we'll just take another look at this front end so that we walk through some of the features here. So for someone that's coming to your page, they're going to be clicking this donate page or donate button, and that'll bring them to the payment portal. This is just going to be a progress bar that shows how close you are to your goal. And then down here, this plus symbol, if you hover over that and go down to more, you have all of the options that show up in the preview, plus the drop-down preview, plus 177 more options for social media or website platforms that you can share your page with. So pretty endless options there. And I think that's about it on this page. And then I'll just give a quick look at what your donors to your campaign are going to see when they hit the donate button. So simple, easy. A lot of the information's already logged in. Your message can go there. We have cardholder information, and that is about it. We hope that you found this video helpful, informative. I know it's a bit of a crash course, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. But really, we hope that you have fun with this, really make this campaign your own. We really appreciate you jumping on the Kick COVID campaign and helping to, first of all, raise money for us, but even more importantly, tell our story and why it is meaningful to you. So thank you very much.